This is John Young with the Disc Jockey News and Disc Jockey News TV coming to you on a Thursday night. We've got a couple of things I wanted to talk to you about tonight. First off, we're going to be, I'll go through what we're going to be doing. We're going to be talking about our upcoming speaker demo day. Then we're going to be looking at the Disc Jockey News, the March issue that just came out. Came out over the weekend. A lot of you have already had a chance to look at it, but if you haven't had a chance, we've got a link in the description below. We can go and read the March issue, and actually a lot of the issues for free. We can read those online. And then we're going to wrap things up with an interview with the world's youngest DJ, Jack Hill. Jack Hill is a DJ based out of the UK. Young man, started at the age of 3, and he's been doing gigs since the age of 7, and he's been playing in some clubs that most of us would drool to play at. This kid's been doing it. So we're going to talk to him a little bit tonight. So that's kind of a cool little feature. So anyway, that's the overview. Let's get right to it. First off, let's talk about that speaker demo day. Speaker demo day is going to be happening here in the latter part of March. What we're going to be doing is we've got a couple of different venues. We have to finish that. But what's happening right now is I've got speaker companies who are sending their speakers in, because what we're going to do, if you watched our Disc Jockey News Conclave demo day, what we did is we lined up the speakers, literally started playing. We played the same song between, and then we shared some of our thoughts on that. And we're going to be doing some speakers, some sound systems from, I think we got 10 different companies. And next week we should be able to start announcing, because we've got some Yamaha stuff here, we've got some Bose stuff here, we've got some Omnis system that just sent some of the B3 series stuff in. Serwin Vega's got some things here. Don Pro Audio's got some stuff here. We got a lot of things that are coming in that haven't made it yet, because it's really going to be a cool day. So we're going to be shooting video. We're going to be live streaming that. We're going to be doing live streaming in the evening, and we're going to be also taking these systems apart a little bit, looking at them, comparing them, and I've got a staff that's going to be there to give you their thoughts, because you know what? You're going to be listening to it through microphones, boom, shotgun mics, what have you. You'll be able to hear there's a difference between speaker A and speaker B, but I want these people to be able to tell you what they're hearing, and we're gonna tell you exactly what this speaker may not work for this application, but we may be able to, it might work better over here. Those types of things, the kind of things that are going to be able to help you make decision about which speakers are going to be on the top of your list, so you know what to go and try to listen to when you're getting ready to buy some new gear. Anyway, that'll be coming up. We're tentatively scheduled for March 23rd. It's going to be somewhere 23rd, 24th, 25th is what we're aiming for. So keep an eye on that. We'll be talking about that more in upcoming Tuesday and Sunday night episodes as we're able to get some more things hammered out. Biggest problem with putting this together, for those of you wondering about behind the scenes part, is when you do these, they're loud. There isn't a hotel around who wants us to be loud all day, which is what you need to be able to do. So we have to find a venue that we can be loud literally all day throughout the day, only for about this much at a time. But that's tough to do. So we've got 2 spots we're checking into. Okay, moving on. Disc Jockey News, March issue just came out. March issues, we've got a great issue. I want to run through some things. We start off the paper. On the cover, we got our longtime cover writer, Mike Walters. He's talking about working towards a goal and the importance of that, and how that relates to our DJ business. He really ties in a really cool little story with that. I think you'll like that article. Tamara's next. Tamara Sims. She was talking about she's been doing some bridal shows this winter and early spring. Well, it's still winter. Here it's really still winter. And some of her observations, some of the things she's seen, and she shares that in her article. Brian S. Red talks a little bit about stage names, as far as DJs with stage names, and he had an event where they were using stage names and his comfort level with that. It was kind of a fun little article. Mitch Taylor talks about some of the lessons, a couple of things that he picked up from the Mobile Beat show, and some thoughts on the Mobile Beat show, and you got to read his article on how Mitch covers that, because it's kind of a cool thing that he's done with kind of comparing that to one of the popular writers that are out there, and some of the things he's learned from that and how that's applying. Let's see, continuing on. Jake Palmer. Jake Palmer's doing the first part of a 2-part series with this March article. He's talking about this void that we all have in our psyche, and what we're doing with it, and what we do with the daily. Yeah, it's kind of a deep article to really read it, think about it, read it, and think about it. So that's March is part 1 of that. Mike Kazaz is talking about the times when you've had people ask about sharing your audio feed of your board. And he's giving you some really kind of pros and cons to that. And it's a neat article to be able to read that and say, I never thought about it that way. Which literally, when I read it, is what I said. I never thought about it that way. Anyway, Kirk Rothram is next. Kirk is talking about the Yeah, talk about just losing my train of thought. He's talking about microphones. This is why it's live, gang. Weird things happen. He's talking about microphones, specifically the frequency. You know, if you heard that microphones have changed in the frequency, well, they're actually trying to squeeze microphones down to a small. You got to read his article. He talks a lot about the different frequency ranges and what's happening with that and where they're going to go, and if we're going to end up with a bunch of dead microphones that won't work or become illegal, because even eBay is starting to limit. Anyway, read his article. Page 6, Ron Ruth is talking. Ron is taking some improv training, and he was kind of giving us some thoughts and such of how that's affecting his sales and how that's working with his sales and his meetings, his face-to-face meetings, which is a huge area a lot of people ask about. Is, you know, when I'm doing face-to-face client meetings, you know, some tips. Ron's article is going to have some things in there, some golden nuggets that you'll be able to take from that. Dean Carlson's next. He's got a recap of the Las Vegas DJ show from his perspective, some of the things he saw, some of the things he picked up. Kind of a neat article there. Jeffrey Gittimer's talking about legacy, which is kind of important to a lot of us as we've been going into the industry for a while, and we have families, and we have, you know, children right now, and you're getting more involved with your communities. Legacy is kind of a cool thing. Joe Bunn's next. Joe Bunn's talking about what your website, the importance of the website, and what it can do for you in this day and age, because obviously this is different than it was 5 years ago, 10 years ago, what have you. And Joe's really got some neat thoughts about websites in that article. Ed Spencer's talking about something that we all need as entertainers. And he has a couple of experiences from his recent events that he was involved with that really pointed out that as entertainers, we really need to be thinking about this, what he's talking about in the article. And I want you to read the article, because it's when you read through it and such, it kind of comes in a circle and makes sense. I don't want to go into too much detail. Jeremy Breck is next, and he's talking about what might be one of the hottest lights of 2014. Certainly the hottest light of the last month and a half in the DJ world. It's kind of, everyone who's seen it's been a wow thing. So he's talking about that in his article. Michael Lenstra, if you're into stats, if you're into numbers, if you're into, you know, finding, Michael Lenstra is talking to the people behind the wedding report, which is huge in the DJ industry and in the wedding industry. A lot of different companies are using the information for the wedding report. He actually sat down and talked to the people behind that, and it's kind of a neat article to hear how that started, what they're, you know, who's using it, what's going on with it. So great article from Mike Lenstra. Matt Anderson's talking about not so much of a business article. This is kind of a really cool article about a gentleman who's out there changing the world, what he's done to change the world. It's more of a feel-good article. It wasn't so much a business one, but it's a neat article, and I really thought it would be something that we needed. You know, everyone needs to read that and just kind of take better yourself that way. Steve Moody's the next. He's talking about he's always talking about connecting with, you know, different aspects of your business and your life. And this particular one, he's talking about connecting with community and giving back to community and sharing some of his journey with that recently. And he's really been involved with some different things that really have brought that to the forefront of his writing and his business and his life right now. So he's sharing some thoughts with that. It's really kind of a cool aspect. Let's see. Next, we get into the charts. We've got our radio recurrence. We're starting something new this month. We're doing some recurrent charts because a lot of people have, you know, we've got the top 30 of the current charts that were released the week the paper goes out. Then we also have the clean high school, the top clean songs for playing at high schools and such, or teen dances. Well, what we're doing is we're adding a recurrent chart. What the recurrent chart is basically they survey the radio stations around the country, and it's not the top songs that are getting played, but it's that second string, the songs that are still popular and getting a lot of airplay on those stations, but they're not in they're not in the top 40 anymore. So there's a lot of, some of those songs are still, you know, higher end 40, but it's the recurrence is what they're called in the industry. And we're starting to add that because there's times where we're looking back and you've got, especially at a high school dance, you've got those two lists, and there's things on that recurrent list that's like, that's a great song, I forgot about it. So we wanted to add that, and we'll see how that goes, if people are, you know, liking that or not. So we'll kind of play that by ear. Okay, let's see, we got the top 30 charts. Rob Peters sharing some ideas for some spring events. You know, he does a lot of things with kids' dances, and here's a couple of ideas that you might be able to implement here in March and April to maybe pick up a couple of extra shows. John Maxwell's our next, talking about abundance and giving back. Again, that's kind of a theme that we've kind of hit on with a couple of our speakers this month, is that giving back and helping to improve the world. And then we have our 30 clean songs, and finally, Harvey McKay wraps us up with this issue, talking about integrity in the business, which is, if you've been working in this business for a while, you know how important integrity is, to have that, to demonstrate that, to make that such a critical and integral part of your life. So that's the Disc Jockey News for March 2013. A lot of great content in there. If you want to get it delivered to you, you can go to our website, discjockeynews.com, click subscribe. You can get it delivered to you. If you want it so you can download it, subscribe there and do that again. You can get it so you can download it to your iPad, lifetime. You can get every issue we've ever done or ever will do for one fee. Subscribe, that's all in the same area. If you want to just go and look at our issues and you don't want to download it, you just want to look at it, with the internet connection, link in the description below. It'll take you right there. That section is a free version of the paper sponsored by ADJ. They want to get that out there for you because there's a lot of great content and they want to help you grow your business. So, okay, speaker thing, Disc Jockey News. I talked about that. We're ready for Jack Hill. Jack Hill again is, well, you know what? I'll just we'll run through this or we'll play the interview. Nice young man. The audio might be a little bit low because we were not only having distance problems, but we were doing this through his iPad, and his iPad wasn't picking up as well as we'd like. So he went to the headphone, so it was picking up a little bit better, but the audio isn't as great as it could be, but it's still, I think you can pick it up. So, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Jack Hill. This is John Young with the Disc Jockey News and Disc Jockey News TV. Tonight I've got a special guest. This is the man who probably was known as the youngest DJ in the world at one time. Ladies and gentlemen, I would introduce to you Jack Hill. Good evening, Jack.
Hello.
Well, tonight we're going to be meeting Jack and finding out a little bit more about him. First off, Jack, now you are how old right now today?
I am 13 years old.
So you're 13, and home for you is in the UK, right?
Yeah, I live in the UK.
Nice. Now, 13 years old, a lot of us were just maybe starting to get into the business, but you've been in the business for how many years have you been DJing now?
So I started when I was 3 years old, so I was, it's 10 years ago now.
10 years you've been doing the DJ thing. Wow. That's really cool. What got you into DJing at 3 years old? What caught your eye?
So basically, I used to go to kids' parties with my dad.
Sure.
And I used to mess around with like the decks DJing and stuff, and I really liked it.
Nice. What kind of music when you were, do you remember when you were little, what kind of stuff were you liking to play when, Dad was playing it and you wanted to go and play at the boards?
It was just silly stuff like Crazy Frog.
And my boys, they were into the Crazy Frog stuff when they were at that age too. That's kind of cool. It's cool. So you've been doing it since you're 3. When did you really get to the point where you were actually out there and playing, mixing a couple of songs together? When did that start for you?
Well, I was 7 years old and I actually gigged at the club and got a world record.
Oh wow! So at 7 years old, where were you at in the world when you did when you got that world record for being the youngest DJ?
So quite a few people booked me after it, and I got a couple of more world records after that.
For being the youngest DJ to play for different events.
Yeah, like there are different ones. Like I've got one for mixing 10 songs in 1 minute for the most successful young DJ. There's loads.
Very cool. So then you've been playing obviously more than just your hometown area. Where have your travels taken you around the world?
So I've been to Italy, Spain, Ibiza.
Cool. And of those places, now you're talking some Mediterranean type areas there. For those of us in the rest of the world, in that vicinity. Which of those, the countries, the areas there, which one really stands out as a place that you really enjoyed?
Well, I really like Ibiza. That's one of my favourite places. I've actually gigged there in the Bucanero, and this year, hopefully, Kathmandu.
Oh, wow. So you've been in some really nice clubs down there.
Yeah.
Now, how long, when you're playing in a club like that, how long is a typical set? How long is the set that you do?
Half an hour to an hour, really.
Nice. And is it something that you just come in with some of your music, or is it something that you're having some influence from the club? How do you pick your music when you're going to a place like that?
Well, usually they have like a playlist of songs, or sometimes I just go in and use my own songs.
Cool.
And they usually enjoy it.
Cool. Now, when you're doing these, I mean, obviously, again, you're based in the UK. and you're doing these shows, are you bringing your own turntables and such, or using your how do you handle that part of it?
Well, actually, I had to go to Germany and I had to take a set of decks all the way to there to do this talent show.
Mm-hmm. Nice. Cool. So then you're using, what kind of decks are you using when you're doing your performances?
Well, now I use Denon DNS 37000s.
Okay. Cool. Have you used a lot of them over the years, or have you been kind of a Denon guy all the way through?
I did actually get given a set of Citronic decks by the actual company.
Mm-hmm. Cool. So
That's great.
Yeah, you've been able to use a few things then over the years to play.
Yeah.
Nice. Now, you mentioned some of your own music. Now, are you doing some remixes and such yourself, or are you actually like writing and performing the songs?
So I have 3 songs that are actually out right now. I have Welcome to Ibiza. That is currently getting remixed by world famous producer Lenny Ibiza.
Okay.
And I got one called Don't Turn a Blind Eye. That is a charity song for Comic Relief. And I have one called Club DJ, which is about just DJing and basic stuff.
Cool. Very nice. So now, if with these songs, is it more of the electric dance music area, or are you going into more of a house, or what type of music? How would it be classified?
Well, I usually use like Ibiza music, dance, club. It's pretty much mixed dubstep.
Cool. Very nice. Now, do you do many events for kids your own age, or is it basically you're doing more club things for the 21 and older crowd?
I do mixed. Really, I can do kids parties. I can do club DJing, but it's got to be before 9.
Yeah.
There's variety, really.
Nice. So now you are in your 9th year of school, you said, right?
Yeah, I'm in year 9.
Year 9 at school. So do you have kids in your class that know you're a DJ and hey, can you play for my birthday party? Do you have some of that?
Yeah, I've had that a couple of times. Actually, I've been booked for someone's party this year in September.
Cool. So do you make your dad haul your gear, or is that something that he makes you do, saying, you know what, it's your gig, you haul the gear?
He does set it up for me and helps me out around it, but then I start DJing and using it.
Nice. Very neat. So if you were going to give some advice to a younger DJ who's just starting out and such, what kind of things would you recommend to them? If you had maybe a tip or two of things that a younger DJ should know when they're getting into mixing and such.
Yeah, so if you want to become a DJ, just keep practicing, watch some tutorial videos on YouTube, get a set of decks to use, obviously, and just keep mixing.
Sure. You mentioned practice. How much time do you devote to practice, say in over a week? Are you a couple hours here and there, or how much do you practice?
Half an hour a day to an hour.
Nice. So that's an everyday thing for you.
Yeah.
Cool. So when you're not DJing, what kind of music do you like to listen to when you're not, making your own mix and such? What's kind of I want to relax and kick back type of music for Jack Hill?
So I listen to like pop, just some Tune 40 and stuff like that.
Cool. Do you get into any of the older music and looking at some of the older tracks, some of the old disco or the old dance tracks?
Not really, but my brother Harry, my actual twin, he likes to listen to Elvis.
He's an Elvis fan. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, he sings it in his bedroom all the time.
But you can't do much for remix with Elvis, unfortunately.
No.
Not so much. So, Jack, if people want to find out more information about you, where could they go to find out about Jack Hill and who he is and what he does?
They could actually go to my website. It's www.djjackhill.co.uk.
and we'll put a link in the description below so people can check that out and such. Are you you mentioned that you've got a show in September where you're going to do a birthday party? Any other big shows that you'll be coming up here in the next few months?
Yeah, in this year I'm playing at Ibiza. I've got the pier. We have a Western pier, which has rides on, and I should be DJing there this year. Nice.
Well, very cool, Jack. I thank you for your time, and again, we'll put the link in the description below.
Yeah, thank you.
And you have yourself a great night.
Yeah, thank you.
This is John Young with the Disc Jockey News and Disc Jockey News TV. So there we have Jack Hill, the world record holder for being the youngest DJ. Nice young man. As you can see, we had the headphones, so you could hear him. He's DJed in cooler clubs than I have, but that's okay. Nice guy. So that's our show for tonight. If you like what you're seeing, or even if you don't, you just want to get a lot of information about gear, the gear reviews and such we do, the gear introductions we do, I should say, is what our big thing is. Click subscribe. YouTube.com/DiscJockeyNews. Click the subscribe button so you're going to get whenever we generally put up about 2 new gear videos a day. Sometimes not, but most of the time we get a couple up there every day, talking about the newest things in the DJ industry and the lighting and sound, whatever. So subscribe on our YouTube page. You can go to Facebook. You can subscribe there, Facebook.com/DiscJockeyNews. You can go to our website, DiscJockeyNews.com. And you can subscribe there to get email notifications when things. Yeah, there's all sorts of things you can do. Or you can get the paper. Hey, get a paper, get it delivered. I don't even have a copy. Shows you what a good host I am to the show, and I don't even have a copy of the paper. But I was looking at e-edition when I was telling you about all the articles. So anyway, it's John Young with the Disc Jockey News, Disc Jockey News TV, signing off for tonight, Thursday night. We'll be back Sunday night, talking again about industry, answering some questions. Have a good evening.